Whenever technology and Brian are involved,
something goes to
shit.
That's right. Well, good. Well, let's get going so we have her long. Yeah, I've got your black. Yeah, you're black.
Merp.
Now I see you. Well, I see your face. Now I see a spinning thing.
when I see you,
Your smile face. Oh, Brian hung up. Nope, he's there. Hello?
I put it on hold.
Oh, okay. Still black.
Assholes.
Who are you mad at? The computer?
Technology.
Oh,
Copy.
All right. I understand.
Technology.
It's better all this goes down than the other thing. What?
What?
When you're gone this weekend, that all that stuff works. That's what I meant to say.
Right.
Hold on. Okay. Clear out of that. Okay, great.
Why?
Okay, I think we're ready to go. Should we just go here?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get
Sorry.
cranking. Let's get, I'm going to close this.
Hey, can you see me now?
I want to have maximum Nicole time. No, I don't see you yet.
Episode.
No, I see you in a, yeah, I see you. I see you in your furry Dumo. Dumo?
I see you. Domo.
Not Dumo. Why I say Dumo?
Domo arigato,
Mr.
Roboto.
Stupid song. Domo. I hate that song.
Domo.
All right, I think we're ready. Let's do it. Recording is happening. Is it? Yeah.
Is it really?
Yep, it is. It totally is.
Did you update it on the thing?
On the thing. I did. Oh, I totally did.
Twitters.
Yeah.
Twitters.
Yeah. No. Yeah, a long time ago. But I'm good. Don't worry. We're ready. Here we go. It begins. Ladies and germs. In 3, 2, 1.
Another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever.
This is the final score, episode 169 for Wednesday, August 27th, 2014. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the final score. This is the video game podcast for the rest of us. I'm Scott Johnson, and I'm joined by Nicole Spagnolo. Hello.
Hello.
Nicole's going to Dragon Con.
Yeah. Oh,
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
You leave tomorrow?
Yeah. Not getting. I put some games on my iPad to play.
Oh, you did good. I'll be. I mean, can you, when you're flying, are you able to focus on that kind of stuff? Like, is it easy for you to just chill and play? Okay.
Easy, especially when you purchase the Wi-Fi.
I feel like I get all tense and tight, and my neck hurts when I play games on a plane.
I had 15 years of practice, so.
I guess so. You did that a lot.
Games on a plane.
Games on a plane, baby. That's Brian Dunaway, also going to Dragon Con tomorrow. Brian, how you doing?
Was that tomorrow? I
Yeah.
knew we had something to do this weekend.
It's like a 2-hour drive? That's not too bad.
It's a 3.5-hour drive, Scott Johnson.
Don't read your iPad or play games while you're on your way to Dragon
Well,
Con.
I can because someone else is driving. As usual, Brian doesn't drive.
Who's driving? Who you got driving?
Friend of mine, Alan.
Oh.
Alan,
Yay.
a huge help. Shout out to
Drive
Alan.
me.
All right, Alan.
Drive me, Alan.
All right. Well, it sounds like Alan's right where you need him to be when he needs to be there. Fantastic. We're going to do one more of these shows, though, before you guys leave, and we'll start with what we've been playing. Hey! What are you playing? Scott has been playing... Hold on to your butts now, okay? I want you to just be prepared for this.
Wait.
More Diablo 3.
Well, the Diablo show's not even running right now, dude.
Well, it starts back up on Saturday. But anyway, it's season 2, I should say.
That was fast.
Diablo, well, I mean, the goal was to have a nice break and then do it when the patch landed on the PC and also the console version came out. They just happened to happen in the same, 5-day period, which is nice. And
So does that mean my internet's about to take a big old fat dump since it's got to update some big old patch?
It's not
wait.
It's not that big.
Wait.
It's not
Scott,
that big. Yeah.
Scott, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is this one going to be called the Soul Patch?
No. This one should be. They should be.
That would be awesome.
Reaper of Soul patch. That'd be great.
I would be down with the Soul Patch.
You know what? Why has someone not made that joke already? That's brilliant.
I'm sure it's got to be out there.
Okay, I got to make a point of that. In fact, we're going to put it as our show title. The Soul.
That made me laugh.
That was really funny. The Soul Patch. Okay,
I'm here to entertain.
we're gonna make that even funnier. Anyway, the point is what? What is the point? Oh, so last Tuesday picked up
Tuesday.
Diablo 3 actually had a little bit before that, but Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition on the PlayStation 4. That version distinguishes itself from the Xbox One and PS3 and Xbox 360 versions by having a bonus couple of things. One is a transmog set that makes you look like the Shadow of the Colossus looking dude, and and then there's one of the rifts you can get into, one of the random areas you get into. You fight a bunch of what are they called? Last of Us monsters, like the freaking, what do you call those guys? The hissers, whistlers.
I love how Nicole's not even going to attempt to.
No, they have mushroom. They have like mushroom heads. The zombie guys. What are they called? Whatever.
No, I'm not even.
Anyway, the enemies in Last of Us show up in this thing. Okay?
Oh, the clickers.
The clickers and the whatever else is in there. Yeah. The different
warriors?
types.
The fungus guys.
The fungus guys.
Scott Johnson, come out.
Play. So that was big deal on the console side, and I'll get to that in a second. But also the PC side updated their to patch 2.10, which is not on the console. Will be, though, it sounds like, because they said they're going to make patches on the console moving forward, which is really good for owners of that, especially if they don't have the PC version. I love the PC version a lot, and I still do. But I'll tell you what, man. Picking that thing up on console and having it do direct controls sure changes the feel of it in a very fundamental way, in a good way, and in an obvious way, because you're controlling it totally differently. It's a very different kind of experience, but it makes it feel like a fresh new game because you're playing it differently. And even though I'm seeing a lot of the same content, got the same classes, the exception here is all the Reaper of Souls stuff is in there. Crusaders and stuff, but you're taking a direct control just changes something about it and makes it feel really good in your hands. And I'm all into it again and playing that through with the kids. We're doing all co-op, the three of us, or two of the kids anyway, and me. And I'm playing a barbarian, which I rarely do. Or actually, what am I now, Carter? Who do I play now? She can't hear me. She got her
I'm
headphones
playing.
on.
I decided to roll a roll.
Which hunter?
You call it roll. You can roll them, sure.
Yeah, I'm rolling.
Sure.
Not the witch hunter. The
demon hunter.
Witch doctor.
The demon hunter.
Oh, that's actually, I've got a demon hunter on there as well. It's really fun on
I
there.
like the demon.
Yeah,
it's loud.
Yeah, it's good. Really loud. Lots of stuff to go on. Machine gunny. Yeah. All that stuff. Rapid fire, whatever that one is called. That particular move or spell. Anyway, it's really fun there, and we are having a ball playing together. And it's got all the right tweaks and whistles and bells to make it feel right on console. They took great care to make sure the UI and inventory management and skill management and all that stuff is easy and intuitive, and didn't just try to cram in a bunch of PC controls into a console. Feels and plays really, really well, and I'm super stoked about it. And Nicole, you picked it up too, so let's talk about it real quick. What did you think?
Well, honestly, everything that you said. Yeah. I love it on the console. I love that I can just kind of relax on the couch and I don't have to click with a mouse and keep it moving.
Yeah,
I
don't
know. I just love it.
That left stick, just keep on moving. What, Brian?
What do you hate? I mean, because surely the characters are too small, unless you got one of those giant 70-inch screen TVs.
They're not too small. They look great. I mean, you don't want to play this on a 19-inch TV 50 feet away from you or anything. But,
right.
But I can tell you on a 60-something inch television, sitting on the couch playing it, looks amazing.
Brian, are you wanting to know how big my television is?
Yeah,
is that what you're
asking? I was just trying to bait you on the
great
on the question of how big is your TV?
How big's your TV, Nicole?
72 inches.
Oh, well,
I knew it.
then that likely looks really nice on your your TV. Here's some really nice little features. So I was worried about when you got too far ahead of somebody, what would happen. Here's what happens. If they're just standing there looking at their menus or something,
Lego style,
you teleport to the guy who's the furthest away. So if somebody's keeping moving, it's not like you have to get stuck and wait for that guy. He'll teleport over to you. So wherever the action is, lazy, slow players, if you're playing couch co-op, will teleport to you. If you're playing by yourself, not really an issue. And if you're playing online, not really an issue. But my favorite thing about it, what?
Who's the lackadaisical one in your house? Who's the one always?
It's usually Carter triple checking her gear. It's usually her because she's so picky about it. But there's really great ways to just see at a glance, oh, this helmet is better than what I have on. Equip it without ever going into a menu or doing anything, doing it right from the play screen. As soon as you pick it up, oh, okay, let me check it. Oh, yeah, that looks good. Put it on. That kind of stuff is really, really well done. That combined with this other feature I'm going to mention are my favorite bits, and that is the way they handle loot distribution on co-op is really smart. Now, I know this is what they did on the previous version for 360 and PlayStation 3, just straight up Diablo 3 that came out there. And I just didn't play that, so this is my first experience with it. So calm down, all you emailers going, we already had that. I know, I get it, but first time I saw it. What happens? You kill a dude, poops out a bunch of loot, and hovering above those pieces of loot next to their names is a little P1, P2, P3, and P4 if you have up to 4 of you playing. If there's 2 of you, just P1 and P2. So when you go pick up loot, or if someone else even picks it up for you, runs over there and just click, and grabs it all, it is sent to your inventory if your player number is ahead of the item. So that way, it's not like you're fighting over loot. That doesn't exist in this game. It's kind of like it is in the PC version. It's all instance loot. So if Nicole and I are playing over the internet and a bunch of crap drops off a guy, she is seeing something totally different on her end than I am. And that's true of also online players who play on the console version. But if you're all on the same couch and you're using multiple controllers, the way they handle that is really awesome. And to be able to just grab an item, know who it's for, and not have to worry about mixing it around. And how come you picked up 4 of those in a row? Give me that back. None of that happens. You can only get what you get.
Like on Borderlands. Oh,
yes, I hate that, right?
I did too.
This is the super smart way of doing this. Borderlands could, whatever they do with 3 or whatever the next thing is after this prequel, sequel thing, they should totally implement something like this.
Right.
For across the board. So both the instance loot for when you're playing online and the local co-op stuff would be really great there as well. Split screen or whatever. Anyway, it's great. That game is great. And they totally nailed it. And Blizzard should be commemorated? No, that's not the word. They should be commended for an incredibly polished, so much more than a port, really, really strong game that, it feels like I'm rediscovering it all over again, even though I'm already playing the PC one regularly and on a very consistent basis. They just feel different enough that you can kind of feel okay about playing both.
Right. Does anybody complain about controller lag? I mean,
no.
Diablo's not really a quick.
There's some quick.
I mean,
there's some
you got
quick
to be quick,
cha-cha.
but you don't have to be cha-cha-cha. You know what I mean?
No, I mean I'm not noticing any controller lag here. I mean, I know there always is some with these controllers and then the TV frequency stuff and all that stuff that affects all that. But I'm not seeing anything that's bad here. I mean, we're not having any problem at all. It's an absolute blast. The only problem is if you play so long, your batteries die. We had like a 6-hour session one night. And one of the batteries died. We had to go plug it in. Anyway, it's awesome. We had so much fun, and playing it with the kids is just a treat, and I can't wait to keep going with them. So that's that. Bunch of Diablo there, and I played a bunch of 2.10, which has got these greater rifts and new zones, and the season thing starts Friday, and there's a bunch of other stuff with that I won't go into detail here. If you want to hear more about what that's all about, listen to the Diablo show this weekend. Saturday will be a new episode up on the feed, and I'll talk more about it. Also, I raided in WoW. That's not really significant other than we beat Grosh and got some cool stuff. That's always good. And then I spent some time with Rogue Legacy while I was in bed, because that's my bedtime gaming right there. What? Rogue Legacy on the Vita. Boom, bam, slam, boom.
Right.
Still one of the greatest games ever. Totally fun. I get sucked into that thing like no other.
So, when you're playing it in bed, do you ever are you playing on your back like a turtle?
Yes, I can't play on my stomach. It kills my back after a while.
Right.
I can't
do
it that
do
way.
you ever like you're playing and all of a sudden you drop it right on your face? Does that ever happen?
No, I sit up. I'm not like laying vertical or horizontal. Laying vertical would be really, really weird, like an astronaut. No, I'll lay on my back, but I'll be kind of propped up on pillows, so it's not going to drop.
So how many pillows are we talking here, Scott?
Like 2, 3.
2 or 3 pillows?
Yeah.
Big fluffy Target kind of pillows like you get from the Target? Or
I don't know. They're I don't know where we got these. They're good pillows, sure. This is a strange course of questioning, though. That you're
I don't think so, because I'm just trying to bridge the gap, because we got people in the chat room who are going, I'm still using a CRTV, and I just want to make sure that we
wait. Who's still using a CRTV? Who else is using a CRT? Are they really? Someone's really doing that?
Let's see in the chat room. Let's call them out here.
Call them out.
Cinder Flame says, I'm still poor with an old CRT television.
Oh, Cinder Flame, we need to help you, dude.
right?
You shouldn't. That isn't right. That you should still be using that. Not in 2014. They're so cheap. Look, even if you don't look, all right. Campaign to get Cinderflame a damn TV that isn't a piece of poo. That's ridiculous. You should not be doing that. That's crazy.
Do you ever go by a yard sale? Do you guys have yard sales?
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
You kind of.
Are you kidding me, dude? We are the land of yard sales. We call them garage sales, even though they're not really garage sales anymore. They're kind of yard sales. There are 50 of them every Saturday. Everywhere you look, they're all over the damn place.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So do you ever drive by and just have just a little twinge, like for a second, like you might see like a Sony flat screen Wega? It's still a CRT, but it's like it's a flat screen Wega. And back in the day,
Wega.
Wega.
I think they're Vegas.
Yeah.
No. WEV is not WEGA.
Is it? I don't know. Sony.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, you know what? These are the old ones you're talking about, the CRTs.
Right. CRT.
Yeah, he's right. There was a Wega. He's right.
They were the first flat screen. Like the front was flat, but it was still a CRT.
They quit making them in 2005. They stopped in 05.
Right.
So, yeah.
But I see them every once in a while, and I'm just there's still that memory of how awesome those were back in the day, and how much I wanted one so bad.
They were the best TVs in the world back then.
Useless now. Totally
now they're
useless.
400 pounds and complete nightmare.
Yeah.
You get a better TV, dude, and play Diablo 3 on it because it's really good on there. Also, I did remote played some Diablo just to test it.
What? Right.
Yeah, on my Vita from the PS4, ad hoc little network, whatever, and it works flawlessly in terms of presentation, and everything works great, movement's great, no lag, it looks great. But I cannot have. I mean, Nicole, imagine this: R2 and L2 triggers are mapped on the touch thing on the back of the Vita. So there's no triggers. It's just like, I hope I touch that with my finger right. That sucks. Sucks. They need to have a better mapping for that. I don't know if there's a way
to remap it.
Well, some games go, you're on the Vita remote play, so we're going to recommend you do this control scheme. Like I want to say Assassin's Creed 4 did that. Black Flag did that, I think. And that made it much, much simpler. And remapping here is difficult because you kind of need every trigger because you've got so many spells. You have 4 spells plus or 4 standard spells, or 4, what do you call them? Just whatever those spells are, and then you have your 2 main ones, which is normally on a computer it's like your 2 mouse buttons.
Click.
Yeah, on this one it's X and I think it's X and R2, right?
Yeah.
And so R2 is right down there.
And then you have different, like I can throw a trap.
Yeah.
With I think it's the square button.
Yeah, and they auto assign these, and you can turn on, just like on the PC, you can do the elective mode thing where you can move them wherever you want. But what I need to do is just make it so those bottom 2 triggers aren't needed, and I don't think we have enough buttons to do it. So I want to play it that way. I totally do.
Buttons.
I want to play it because it looked amazing and sounded great and was flawless, except for how those keys are mapped. So anyway. We'll figure that out. Maybe I'll mess around with that this weekend and see if I can get it to do more like I want it to do. That's it. That's what I played. Brian?
I was going to say go to me, but then you know what? We need to probably go to Nicole.
Let's go to Nicole.
Just in
thanks,
case.
Brian.
That's a good idea. Yeah, she's got to kind of go early today. So, Nicole, where are you at, aside from Diablo, I guess?
So, I don't know if you noticed, but iTunes on occasion will put out lists of games like, check out these games that you might have missed that you should be playing. And they just recently came out with one, and I'm like, maybe let's see what's on there. And I found 2 really great games that I had missed the first time around. The first one is, I closed the show notes. So
it was Detective Grim Moray.
Yeah.
You saw the show notes and went, man, these are shitty. I'm just going to
close
these.
I just accidentally just closed them. Oh, they're back open now.
All right.
Right.
So,
and I got the feed running too, by the way.
There it
we're
is.
seeing this
Detective
Skype.
Grimoire.
All right.
And this reminds me of Puzzle Quest. Remember Puzzle Quest?
I loved Puzzle Quest.
That was one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
And you're a detective. And you go to this swamp area and you're investigating a murder. So you're collecting clues, you're interviewing and interrogating the local population, and and you put different puzzles together. So as you're collecting different clues, you can unlock a challenge, and then as you're interrogating, you can try to, I guess, start the challenge and I guess successfully interrogate the person correctly by presenting different evidence. And it's just a really cool detective game.
It sounds like Phoenix Wright a little bit. Is it?
A little bit, but better, way better for me.
But how is it puzzle
like
questy? Is there match 3 puzzle game to fight things
like
or what?
One of the no, am I thinking of the wrong one? Puzzle.
I think you are. Puzzle Quest was like
Puzzle Quest was that cute little black and white.
No.
The art.
Oh no, I'm not thinking.
You're both thinking of the wrong game.
Quest.
Oh really?
What was the puzzle game?
Puzzle Detective.
Is that what it was called?
I think
don't
it was
know.
Puzzle
Quest
Detective.
was a
it's
fantasy
not
game
Puzzle
where you
Quest,
match
but I'm
3
thinking-
gems and
Puzzle Detective. Yeah, the Puzzle Detective was the game I was
Yes,
thinking
that
of.
was it. But Puzzle Detective 1 and 2, that's what this reminds me of.
Detective Grimoire. I'm looking at it here. Oh, this is I think I might like this. This is very Phoenix Wrighty, and I like Phoenix Wright.
I think it's better than Phoenix Wright because
Really?
whenever I played Phoenix Wright, it's like
It's so wrong.
You got to deal with that weird anime freaking psycho. Yeah.
Like I played it on the iPad, and it was just me going, click, 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 and an objection, and I was like, what's the point here?
Yeah.
Whereas this one actually has puzzles. So like one of the things you have to do, you have to unlock a gate to get to the other areas, and so now there's a little puzzle that you have to solve, and then you also have to interrogate and question people and pick up different clues, and then you get to this clue board where you have around 10 different options up at the top, and you bring down different options to engage a statement, and that statement then unlocks a challenge. So there's all kinds of different puzzles and searching, and the art and the voice acting really great. So it's a fun little game that I missed, and
reviewed really well. Let's see, $3.99. Sweet. I'm happy to pay good money. For a game that is not going to nickel and dime me.
You keep saying you missed it, but was this released on a different platform first?
No, I mean it was a game that
It says release date August the 18th, which was like what, 4 days?
No. On iOS, that's on Steam. On iOS, it was launched January 10th. No, I'm sorry, it was updated January 10th, 2014. Released on.
So you're playing this on iOS. I must have missed that part. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they must have done a Steam port or something.
You missed the little iOS next to
it was just released on Steam as well, which is where I'm probably going to grab it for $7. How much is it on the iPad?
$3.99
or $3.99. $4.
That's awful cute.
Well, look,
it's really good.
I don't. If you're asking me which this seems like a better platform to get it on, I think a tablet sounds like a great place for what I'm reading here. This seems like a perfect interface for it. So yeah, don't if you've got both.
Yeah, but I like doing the Let's Play with the walkthroughs. So that's kind of a decision maker for me sometimes.
What walkthroughs? Oh, you mean like developer commentary?
A little commentary.
It's worth another $3, sure. I guess $4.
I guess I don't know.
It's fun. It's a fun little game, and I can recommend it.
I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it on the Android because I have Amazon Play credits. Who bought Twitch this last week? Anyway, or tries to.
No, they did. They're buying it. It's done.
They bought it.
$1 billion. They're done. They got it. It's theirs.
They got it.
They've made it an announcement. It's official.
We will give you $1 billion.
You know what happened there? The deal with Google fell apart, not because Google didn't want to or they didn't want to. The talk is that Google fell apart because Google was afraid of non-compete law stuff because of their position with YouTube, and they backed out because they're like, we don't need the grief for the stuff. I actually think Amazon's a better buy because this is a good diversification for them. They don't already have a competing product like this. It puts them in an interesting place in the market to have a big juggernaut streaming service they can build on that is in direct competition, or at the very least gives them something on par with what Google tries to do with YouTube and their live stuff. So good on them, I think, for getting that. I think it's a good buy. And I'm not usually all for this whole let's swoop up the little guy deal, but they're not really the little guy. They needed some money, so this is good.
I think Twitch from the beginning looked to me like it was being developed to sell. I mean, I had a strong feeling they were not going to be the final place. They were just developing this technology because it's like, hey, you know what people really like? Watching other people play video games. And I think they were always thinking to sell. to me.
Oh, I think they were never. I think there's no question.
Right.
I think they would love to have had a suitor sooner than this, even. But it's good.
Suna.
It worked out.
Suta.
Suta Suna. All right, I'm gonna get that game. What else? We got anything else?
Yes, I do.
Ooh, another one with the devil in it. Today's the devil day.
Today's Devil Day. This one's called Devil's Attorney. Again, on iOS. I don't know if it's on Steam.
Is that Matlock? Is that who the Devil's Attorney is? No, wait.
What are you saying?
I'm thinking,
you know what?
I'm thinking of Daredevil.
As I'm playing this, it does have an LA Law feel to it.
Really?
Yes.
That's great.
It's totally 90s kind of feel. The cartoon characters are really, I like how they're drawn. It's funny, and of course, you're playing the attorney that is able to win every case, and you play dirty, and it's turn-based play. So when you go into the court, so you pick your case, you go into court, and you have...
Oh, I played this game.
This is so fun, isn't it?
Yes, I forgot about this. And again, it's a kind of similar to Phoenix Wright, except a little bit... I like the humor more. I thought it was... Yeah, I like this a lot.
Well drawn.
I forgot I played this forever ago. This is a great game. Yeah?
Yeah, I missed it. Again, it's in that iTunes list of games you might have missed. $1.99. Really funny. So you have an apartment. So before you go into court, you have an apartment that you're building up that will give you certain boosts. So you may buy, like I just bought a disco lamp and it gave me +1 vanity.
Yeah.
And so that helps you attack your opponent, whether it's tampering with evidence or interrogating a witness. And again, you have so many action points to eliminate the other side, and you go back and forth. And of course, if you get to 0, then you lose your case. It's very funny.
Yeah, it's really well done. The graphics are rad. The cartoon style is really good. I remember really liking it. They haven't updated it since October of 2013, but that's probably because they're done and it works great, so why bother?
I'm not having any problems with it.
It's what, $2? No big deal.
Yeah, it's on sale right now, 33% off, $1.99.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that game. I'm glad you brought that one up. I forgot it was called that, though.
Devil's Attorney.
Yeah, the name never stuck with me. Maybe that's a problem, but the game itself is real good. Brian, how about you? Super Splatters, what the hell's that?
Oh, Super Splatters. I'm going things that I've probably missed as well is Super Splatters, because it has been around on the Xbox apparently forever. They had a first release. It was called, I think, just the Splatters, which is what you do in the toilet.
Whoa!
But this is Super Splatters, what you do in the public restroom. No, I'm kidding. It's kind of a...
I was buying this. I thought you were telling me it's like a toilet simulator or something.
No, I wish it was a toilet simulator. That would be even better than what I'm playing. No, Super Splatters is the follow-up to the fairly successful Xbox Live. No, it's not really live. What do they call the Xbox? Is Xbox Live? That's right.
Yeah, it's still live.
It's been so long since I've messed with it. I don't even know what they call it.
Well, no, Live Arcade, is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think it wasn't Live Arcade. Anyway, it was one of those indie developer kind of things.
Indie or Xbox Indies or whatever the hell it was. Yeah.
To the point.
Yeah.
To the point. It kind of reminds me of something somewhere between Peggle, World of Goo, maybe just a little bit of aiming mechanic like you would see in Worms. And there was something else, too, that reminded me of. It's like this whole conglomeration of different games that it feels like. It's one of those games where you have to figure out the best way to accomplish a task, and that task is to hurl your jelly body at a wall, and then you burst into jelly goo everywhere, and the jelly goo rains down on these objects or star clusters, and then when they meet your goo, they explode. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you're some kind of celebrity in this one, Super Splatters, because what you're wanting to do is you want more viewers of your event where you go through and you blast yourself into a wall and you goo everywhere, and it makes all these great little explosions. And on top of that, you get to you have this little back and forth, almost like you would see in like a pinball tilt kind of thing, where you tilt the screen just a little bit, and you can kind of reverse your direction a little bit. When you do that, you can cover more goo everywhere.
Yeah, this is the most, out of context, this is the most pornographic conversation we've ever had.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to describe because it's such a combination of so many different games.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit addictive. I played this. This was just the demo, and I put a video up of me playing just a demo's worth.
Yeah.
And I played through the entire demo. I don't usually make it through entire demos. I just usually don't. I'm usually like, okay, I've demoed enough of your stupid game. I'm out. While this is a stupid game, it's a little bit fun. It's kind of addicting, and it's a little bit old too. I mean, this was released even on Steam, like in 2013, June 2013. But apparently, they just decided to release a demo, so all of us demo people could get a gander at it. So they sucked me in.
All right.
And so I play. It's fun for a demo. Why not? And it's like $10. I think that's a bit much, even though the content seems like it's there. There's a lot of content. The fact this game is kind of, over a year old and is kind of simplistic, I would expect more along the lines of $4.99. So if you're listening, Super Splatters creators, I'll give you $4.99 right now.
All right.
I'll upgrade my demo. I'll update my demo right now.
Grimo.
You will knock it down. My
Update
Grimo.
your Grimo. Got it. What
Update
the hell
my
is
Grimo.
Max Gentleman?
Max Gentleman is a free-to-play game anyone can pick up on the Steam.
It's on Steam. Okay.
It is on the Steam, and it's a gentleman's game. So, Scott, no sense in you even getting this.
All right.
Can I play it?
I actually think Nicole would enjoy it more.
Is this full motion video I'm looking at? Is that in the game? Oh no,
no,
good.
that is not in the game. They do some little pre-rendering for that little sales pitch they're doing there. But no, it's very simple. Now what you're seeing now on the screen is actually more like how the game is. It's kind of that almost Monty Python kind of cutout stuff on top of moving backgrounds. But you're playing these very
going on here. This is crazy.
You're playing these very gentle gentlemen and gentle ladies, and it's set in that kind of turn of the century we're kind of becoming civilized now, and but they're wearing they got a lot of tattoos on. They're all about taking their shirts off and having the fisticuffs. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
here?
muscle bound men with a handlebar mustache and their fists in the air and they want to fight. Yeah.
Exactly. And what you're doing, all the games so far that I've played, the free part of it, because this is free to play, but you can purchase more things.
Does this take place in San Francisco?
It kind of looks like it, doesn't it? It kind of looks like it totally does.
Today's day and age.
It's a very simple.
Right now.
It's a very simple game across a very cute backdrop of
a bunch of hipsters is what it looks like.
Exactly what it is. And so what you're doing is you have hats on your head of different types, and as you go along, you can unlock those different types of hats. You can also purchase some type of hats too. But what you're doing, you're going through different levels that allow you to make your hat jump over your head. So almost all the game mechanic involves jumping the hats off of your head to collect more hats.
Yeah.
So whether that be if you're riding next to a horse-drawn buggy and you need to pop one of your hats on your head to knock another hat off so that you get this hat stack, and the hat stack gets taller and taller, and you can go up and down, like place your cursor on the different hat levels, and you can pop those hats up in the air as required or needed, because you will occasionally run across a bird or a boomerang or somebody throwing a beer, and if they hit one of the hats, it gets knocked off. And the object, of course, is to stack as many hats on your head as possible. This sounds kind of lame, but it's really fun.
It looks interesting. I'll say that.
I played this one. If this had been a demo, I would have played 2 demos worth.
Whoa!
But right, the different hats are fascinating and fun, and it's once again, it's just really addicting. It's difficult, but it's doable. So I really like those kind of games where it's like, it's not so difficult that I get frustrated, but it's not so easy that I get bored. And I think the balance is really good. If you look right now, they got a corgi in there. You can play as a corgi with hats. You like corgis, don't you? Those dogs with little stumpy legs. You like those guys, right?
They're adorable, those little things.
I hate those things.
Yeah, they're okay. They're not hurting anybody.
Why are they so angry?
Corgi hate mail now.
Yeah.
Why are they so angry? Why are those corgis so angry?
All the corgi lovers.
I know, and they're going to write me back, and they're going to say, it's not the corgi's fault. It's the owner's fault because they're making them mean. They're making them mean.
Oh, that's too bad.
It is too bad.
Well, there you go.
Max Gentleman is a really fun little romp into the turn of the century kind of muscle man, let's fight kind of thing, and drink beers and collect hats.
Do they go ha 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 ha?
Of course they do. Ha 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 ha.
Wow.
Punching bears. I'm punching bears right now.
Well, that's what you want. Excellent. Do you know if Dan Patrice?
He's in the chat room.
That's that board gaming guy who occasionally.
For some reason, I cannot find him.
In the Skype?
Hold on, Dan. Oh, there he is. Nope, I found him. We're going to add him to the thing. How you feel about that?
I am excited about Dan Patrice.
Add to... Skype's being weird. Oh, invite to group call. Here we go. They changed the term. It used to be a different word on there. I don't know what's going on.
What was the word before Skype?
It was this right here. It was
Smack Talk.
There you go. That's what it was. All right, here's some music, damn it.
Intruder alert, intruder alert.
Okay, there it is. Hey, whoa, we got it all working now. Ladies and gentlemen, join us with us now. What? Welcoming to the show, Dan Patrice, who is on the line. Dan, what's going on?
Not much. I was hiding in Skype because Dunaway was throwing his goo all around. I didn't want to get hit by
I know. Gosh, the goo that was being thrown around earlier. Ugh. Rough business. Dan, we haven't spoken since you got back from Gen Con.
Yep, and I might actually be recovered.
Oh, that's good. Now, it takes a little while to kind of get over it.
Do you guys know the 3-2-1 rule when you go to cons?
No.
Talk about
Explain.
This? It's 3 hours sleep, 2 meals, and 1 shower. you gotta try to keep to that. The 3 hours sleep is the thing I kind of edge on a little bit, but all the rest of them I'm good with.
I gotta have more sleep than that. That's just I'm too old.
You could have more showers than that.
Yeah.
Called condrenalin is what I call it when you get to you don't see a lot. It's like summer camp. You don't see some of these people more than once a year. So when you get there, you get so excited to see everybody so that you don't really need hardly any sleep.
This is true.
Right. Do you also take showers with people when you're at cons like you did at camp? Is that a thing?
I try not to, but occasionally it happens.
Yeah. Dan dropped his soap again. Nobody go near Dan.
As long as there's no goo, we're okay.
How was Indiana? How was the con? Did you see anything there that just blew your freaking mind?
You know what? I could literally talk for over an hour with all the great stuff I saw. It's ridiculous. The theme of the con was sold out because every game, I would say 8 of the 13 games that I kind of mentioned over those 2 weeks, sold out, most of which sold out within the first day, some of them in the second day.
Wow.
It was ridiculous.
Awesome. Wow.
Did Sparks Games, did they sell out?
I'm not sure. They didn't have a whole lot at their booth. I didn't even get a chance to stop because every time I went by, they were pretty busy. So they might have actually sold out. Was that Hypocrisy? Was that the name of the game that he was demoing? I think.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But it was pretty packed over there. I never even got over to see Kurtz because there was so many people in that.
Oh wow.
The hall it was 33% bigger, and I still couldn't move when I was in there.
Still busy.
Because their turnstile attendance was over about 160,000.
Yeah. That's a lot, dude.
It was insane.
That's what we're expecting this week, or not this weekend, next weekend for Salt Lake Comic Con, and I don't know if I'm looking forward to that crowd. It's just too much. They've expanded this year, but oh, good lord! Oh yeah, we got Purell, we got wipes, we got all kinds of things to deal with while I'm over there. But it's getting in and getting out that gives me gas. It's like, oh, look at all these people.
Man, if I had a nickel for every time we had Johnson Gas. Yeah, right. Poor guy.
That's right. Well,
it's funny because you mentioned that, like Con Crud. There's a guy, Jason Tagmeyer. He did Pixel Lincoln, and he also did Maximum Throwdown, which I mentioned on Nerd Parents. He came up with this it's kind of like a meta game. It's called Con Crud. And I know that's going to lead to a lot of jokes, but just hear me out here. It's a 1-card thing. It's called Con Crud, and it basically on one card of the card it says the goal is to get rid of Con Crud, and how you play is basically you kind of slip it to people as you're kind of like going to shake their hand, you slip them the card, or when you go to hand them like something else, you hand them Con Crud.
That's a great idea.
It's awesome, and you just kind of you got to do it with like your friends, because if you hand it to some random schmo, they're gonna just throw it out. But if you're trying to slip it to your buds the whole weekend, it just becomes
awesome.
a real funny. I got a few of them. I'm gonna send them to you guys.
Oh, I'd love that.
Maybe you can get into it at BlizzCon or something like that.
Sure, why not? The big trick I've heard from a couple of friends who have tested this is that as long as the one rule is always to never touch your own face, not even once at the entire con. Right. Don't rub your eye, don't itch anything, don't go anywhere near your head with your hands at all, even if you've washed them a million times. You will cut down your rate of acquiring some sort of con crud by like some 60% or something.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing is to make sure you get plenty of sleep, which I'm not usually pretty good at. But for every 4 hours sleep you lose, your immune system is compromised by about 50%.
Oh, good Lord!
So you got to watch out.
I'm actually pretty good at that. Once I settle in, I'm cool with everyone's having a good time at midnight. And me going, all right, you guys, later. I'm too old to give a shit.
See ya, suckers.
I don't care anymore.
Is like we had.
Yeah, just get out of here. I mean, what are you gonna do? Just sit around, talk, and drink? I'm tired. Good night.
Well, that's where the board games and some of those other social games come in. That's why I think we end up staying up so much, is because you're just playing stuff constantly.
Yeah. I had a conversation one time with Felicia Day at BlizzCon, and she said, I'm not a partier. And I know what she means. It's like everybody wants you to stay out and party all night, but I'm just like, you know what would be really nice right now? A hotel bed and some weird-ass thing that only comes on HBO that time of night, and then I'm out. That's it. I'm out. I don't mean sexy, but anyway, hey,
well,
Dan,
so one of the big games.
Yes, tell us all about it.
There's a few games. Well, did you guys hear about the XCOM board game that they announced?
I did hear about it. Yes, it's very exciting.
It wasn't there for purchase, but it was there for demo, and it's pretty cool. It marries kind of like the whole getting your iOS devices in there, like getting your iPad, and it's a co-op game, and you play 4 players. Everybody's got their own little job. You know, somebody's like putting out the troops, somebody's worrying about the money, somebody else is worrying about the base, somebody else is worrying about your tech tree. It's really cool. It's going to be another one of them. Scott, you may not like it because I'm sure the rule book is going to be insane because it's a Fantasy Flight game. But it looks really, really cool, and I saw some demos of that. But the game that I wanted to mention, God, see how excited I am? So many games, so little time. The Spiel des Jahres winner is called Camel Up. Now, this is it's kind of a betting game. I'm going to put a picture of it in the chat room for you to check out.
I don't know if I want to bet on
camels. Come on now, one hump or two, baby.
It's like I think it's 2 or 3 to 8 players. The sweet spot is really that 4 to 5 range. It's just you're betting on these camels. Now, there's a cute little thing where you get this. It's a pyramid and it's got 5 dice in it, and you don't take the role of one of the camels, but you're betting on the camels who's going to win. So each round, you have one of a few things you can do. You can either take the action where you get a coin and you could put out one of the dice, and then when the die comes out, that color camel moves. But the cool thing is, if you notice on the picture, the camels can stack on top of each other. So if there's a camel on top of the one you have to move, it moves with that camel. So then as things are going, you could also bet on which camel is going to be in front on each leg. So as you take all 5 dice out, that's going to be one leg. So you're betting on who's going to be in first or second in that particular leg. Then all the dice go back into the pyramid. You're also, one of the actions you can do is you put down a card. At any time in the game, you can put down a card who you think is going to be in first or in last when one lap is complete. And then you get a certain amount of coins depending on that. And there's other little things.
Scott, 2 humps or 1?
I want 2 humps.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's just an absolute blast to play, and you're kind of laughing at it. If you have too many people, we played it with 6, 7, and 8. It wasn't quite as much fun as when you played with like 4 or 5, because then you could really yuck it up and have a good time.
Some games are just better suited for certain numbers, right? It's like some with massive numbers, some with 2 of you, some with 4. Like it's always interesting to me to see how these games are tuned. And how quickly things can get out of hand. Yeah.
If you don't play with the right one, you may be really turned off to a game that could be really, really good.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about Board Game Geek is they've got one of the sections in each board game entry has what the recommended player count is. So they'll have like a lot of the users will vote on what the sweet spot is. So if you can play in that sweet spot, it'll be really, really good. I mean, it's a Camel Up it's really light. You can play with kids, families, gamers. I mean, it's a great late night game or just a great
drunk people.
Yeah. Drunk people, exactly. Drinking Camel Up is a real good thing too. You're flipping out as the dice come out, that's how you're giving out the drinks as well. So we think of just about everything.
So I got 2 questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Real quick here. One, why does Board Game Geek just insist on looking like a website made in 1995?
Right. I love it, but it also gets me.
And it's mostly data-based, so I get it. I understand. It's not, it doesn't need to be pretty. The community there doesn't care, but man, it's like looking at some ancient thing.
It does look like shite.
Yeah.
And it could be so much better. I've talked to a couple of the people that run Board Game Geek. They said pretty much the infrastructure is so old and everything is so intertwined with old stuff that if they did anything to it, they would just lose everything.
It'd just be a huge mess. I totally get it. That back end stuff's a pain.
Like old man fear to
no,
me.
you could do it, but you're talking about a huge financial thing.
Yeah.
To switch it up.
And they go
Kickstarter.
Kickstart it. You know how quick that would fund, dude? Oh my gosh, that would fund in a day.
And that's
great
that's
idea.
one of the things about Board Game Geek is it looks so bad and it's so unuser friendly that it just turns off the casual gamer.
Yeah.
It takes you a long time to get used to what
if you can
bring
convince one of those guys to change it, I'll do some free art for him. Tell them I'll put some free header art up there, and then all they have to do is fix the entire site. That seems like a fair trade.
Let me tell you something about Board Game Geeks.
Yeah.
They have obsession problems. Why can't they do this?
Yeah.
They obsess. They can handle that. They can handle a little data.
Who? Oh, them? No.
Board game.
Yeah,
people.
but
It's a whole infrastructure.
it's a big mess.
Yeah.
It's bigger than we think. It always is. There's always things we don't know.
I wish it would look better because sometimes even knowing how to navigate through there, you can't get to where you need to be.
Yeah, it's a little tricky. All right, second question is
John
this.
Funk.
I need
John Funk.
John Funk could totally fix it. You know he could. So I got a question for you that is more homework because I know you're probably not going to have this off the top of your head. Are there or can we find a recommended board game, card game, something, tabletop something that replicates the feel and mechanics of a roguelike in terms of character progression but losing everything each time you play except for certain stats or whatever that carry over to the next game? Just that kind of roguelike play that you'd get in Rogue Legacy or you'd get in Spelunky or a dozen other titles. I would love to play a game that replicated the way those games feel, but do it in a board game or a tabletop game.
Well, there's a few. I'll give you one quick now, but I'll table this to next week for you. So to give me a little more. There's you've got the old. Do you remember the 1980, 77, 80 Dungeon with the exclamation point?
I do.
It was an old Hasbro game.
Yes.
They just put it out recently, and it's less than $20. I think you can find it in most mass market stores. But they redid it, upgraded the art and stuff like that. That's kind of like a roguelike. This is pretty simple. You're going into the dungeon, but there's a few other better ones than that. And you know what? I'll definitely make sure I let you guys know about a few that are simple and roguelike.
Very excited about that idea.
I got a few in mind that I could point out to you.
Well, you're the man. I have no doubts in your abilities as a sleuth of board game stuff to find it.
That thing is a huge board, man. Dungeon?
Oh, Dungeon, yeah.
And it's got cardboard standees and stuff, which is pretty cute. And it keeps the price down, but it's a little antiquated and old. But
sure.
There are better.
Sure.
There are better dungeon crawlers, and it's kind of a big thing now. Dungeon crawlers. It's one of the big few between dungeon crawlers, and you got sci-fi games, and 4X games are always awesome.
Yeah. But
just finding the marriage between those two is not easy.
I imagine not. Anything else of note before we cut you loose?
Well, there was another game. Do you guys, it's a shame Nicole left because she's a Midwestern girl, but, playing euchre and stuff. Do you guys play any trick-taking games?
Trick-taking or trip-taking?
Trick-taking, kind of like spades or hearts.
Occasionally,
euchre,
sure, yeah.
Or whist. One of the games at a con that I loved was called Diamonds by Stronghold Games. It's a trick-taking game, but there's no trump. And you're kind of it's every man for himself. It also goes up to 6, and 6 you play with teams. But other than that, it's every man for itself. So, as you're playing a trick, if you win a trick, if you get a diamond, you put a diamond into your vault. You've got a little screen. If you win the trick with a heart, you put a diamond in front of your screen because once they're behind, they can't be stolen. If you get a spade, you take one from in front of your vault and you put it into your vault. And a club, you basically club somebody else and steal a diamond from in front of their screen. So as you win tricks, you can also since there's no trump, kind of like hearts or spades. Usually, if you were throw off, you would throw the trump and win a trick. But here, since there's no trump, when you throw off, or you throw the different suit, you get to do that action as well.
Oh,
so then you play the number of rounds equals the amount of people. Every diamond that's behind your screen is 2 points. Every diamond in front of your screen is 1 point. So easy to play and an absolute ton of fun. I've played it a bunch. The designer, Mike Fitzgerald, he's done He did Wyvern in the past, which was like the second CCG. He does a lot of stuff with Pokemon. He's the guy that like kind of came up with all these Pokemon decks and stuff like that. He's worked for so many different places as far as making these CCGs, and this is kind of like his labor of love, and it's a great game. I would tell you guys, it's such a good family game. You guys would love this.
All right, I have to check this one out. Give them the full name again.
That's called Diamonds.
Diamonds, everybody. Like your best friend, right? Diamonds.
Yep. So Diamonds and Camel Up, kind of two of my hits of the con. And I'm sorry to talk your ear off, Johnson. I'm so excited.
No,
this
is great, dude. You bring the beef. I like it. This is good beef. We like this beef.
The beef.
And I wish I was coming to see you down away at Dragon Con, but I
did too, man.
I got to stay home and do the fam thing.
Come to BlizzCon, and we'll make it up for it. There you go.
Right. Man, I wish that would be a lifelong dream come true. That's kind of a bucket list thing.
Is it? Oh, sweet. Yeah. Well, maybe if it ever works out, I have contacts. I can get tickets. Yeah, we'll talk about that off air.
Sounds good.
It's Geek Jock Blog on Twitter, and Dan, anything else that we should send people?
No, that's about it. I can't wait to pick up Diablo on the console myself. So
it's really good, dude. It's really, really good.
I'll be hitting you. I'll be looking for you guys for the season thing. I guess you can group up, and then once the season starts.
The season starts. So right now that patch content is only on the PC and Mac version, for the season stuff and all that. Right. That will come to the console at some point. But yes, starting Friday, the first season starts, and you can group, play by yourself, whatever. I'm very interested in that.
See if you're going to be doing that season stuff, because I'll be hitting that pretty hard.
Oh, for sure. I'm absolutely planning on it. The real question is, I don't know, like seasons are timed, right? So you only have so much time to do it. Mm-hmm. That worries me on how far I get as quickly as I want to get there, Yeah. I don't know. I'm unsure about where I'm going to end up in all that, but I need to at least try it the first time and see how I do.
After that patch, I feel like they turned up the loot even more, because I was getting stuff dropping like crazy.
Oh yeah, for sure. But we'll be in touch, dude. Don't you worry.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I can't stop talking.
No, it's all good. Our best to you, the family, and have a great weekend. And let's talk again next week. It's been rad.
Thanks a lot, guys. Miss you. Be good.
See ya.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, Nicole is gone.
Yeah,
everybody.
Nicole's gone. So Dan really could have stayed as long as he wanted, really.
Yeah, he could have hung out the rest of the show now that I think about it.
Right.
Now that you mention it. Let's do some of this real quick.
Valkyrie needs food badly.
I need food.
So we're not going to talk about Twitch buying or selling out to Amazon. We're not going to talk about, I don't know what else happens this week.
Because you can listen to Boop. You've already kind of covered that.
Yeah, Boop, B-O-O-P show, Boop show, which tomorrow is a new episode. We'll cover all that kind of news. But, yeah, we want to talk a little bit more about this little thing you've written here, which is when politics and social issues get into your game. So, for example, I don't know. I'm trying to think of it.
So it seems like at least a couple of times a year, some news event or politics will creep into a flash type game, a real simple game that has no other reason to exist other than to push either education or agenda. Or
sometimes just push being a troll. Like, I remember there was a 9/11 Flash game that came out not long after the whole 9/11 thing that was a game where you had to use your mouse to try to swat airplanes away from crashing into the towers. And they kept getting more and more and quicker, and you had to be faster to get rid of them and slap them out of the sky. Yeah, I mean, that sort of thing is not uncommon. And then, like you said, there's some that come out where this is a simulator. What was the one? It was on Apple. It was actually an iOS thing for a while, and then got yanked. But it simulated the kind of abject slavery that sort of exists in Chinese factories, the low-paying jobs, the horrible hours. I forget what it was, but it was basically chronicling the life of your phone from where it started till it got to your hands. And it was, really critical of corporate moves and things. Not just Apple, but everybody, really, who manufactures large quantities of stuff in Asia. And yeah, you're right. Like this thing in Ferguson. There's a game, right?
Well, there's not a game yet, but a game developer was already developing a game that kind of discussed the idea that the media, through their presentation of an event, will often skew the public's mind of how things are and can actually incite people to maybe a level that might not have happened. So the game was already about framing, and it was how a cameraman or a newscaster frames an event or a scene to where it looks like one thing in one framing and it looks like another in another framing. So he was kind of messing with that game mechanic already. And then when Ferguson came about, he was like, oh, well, maybe this is the game that I can go into. And then he's like, nope, because it's a really intense situation that's going on there. And but I thought the game mechanic was interesting. I just hope nobody makes, and I'm sure someone will. Somebody will make a stupid Ferguson game. You know they will.
Oh, of course they will.
And right,
they always do. Somebody
right,
always
it's
does.
Right. Yeah, it's right on the possibility of happening.
So here's my take on that. Right. I don't have any problem with anybody doing anything they want to do. You know, if you're going to come out with a game and you're going to have a political slant to it that's either pro or against something, or you have a big reason to think that you have you have a message to send to everybody based on your belief about a certain situation or whatever. Like, I think, wasn't there a Columbine simulator thing for a while? Now that one just strikes me as trolly. But regardless, I think those people should be allowed to make whatever they want to make. But if they want to have the conversation, right? Because these are meant to kick up the conversation. You at least should be prepared for the inevitable, some support, but the inevitable backlash you're going to get for making what you're making. And not only backlash about the subject matter, but backlash people saying you shouldn't use video games as a platform for your political stand. There's just no way around it. Like, that's where I feel like people aren't prepared. So, you know, there's a lot of, if you made a game about, I don't know, I'm just trying to think.
Donkeys and elephants?
Let's say somebody, so I was reading this article the other day about somebody who had gone to prison for killing his father. And 9 years later, they found out that he had a condition that made him essentially clinically insane when it happened. And he wouldn't have done it otherwise. And there's, you know, all these other signs that he has a severe mental illness. But it took 9 years to figure it out. If you made a video game that was just focused on dudes rage killing people because they're mentally ill or something, that may be an important issue to you. But you've got to be prepared for the fallout of doing something like that. People are going to have a problem with it, you know?
I think a lot of times they want that attention, and you think you want the public eye looking at you as long as the result back is not too harsh and too focused. But it can be really harsh and focused, especially if news media picks it up and they really run with it. You can get a lot of hate. Cinderflame in the chat room is saying, just to give you a quick little run of what some of the chat room people are saying. Cinderflame is saying they have the free speech right to put out what they want, but they have to accept the consequences of their actions. So that's kind of mirroring what we said.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, Captain Kipper says he remembers the Kennedy assassination game. Now, with that, if it's kind of so far back, it's almost historical, and I don't know if I would put that in the same frame because I don't have an emotional attachment.
See, that's a big
social attachment.
That's a really important point, dude. Because look at it this way: if you made a game simulator that was, I don't know, it's you're Pearl Harbor and you're defending let's call it tower defense, okay? Because that's a thing people like. Make a tower defense game that is Pearl Harbor defending itself against waves of attacks from from Japan, the Empire of Japan.
With Cuba Gooding Jr., shooting.
You could probably get away with that now and not have it be too tonally deaf because it's so far in the past. It's a historical thing that none of us were alive when it occurred. We see it through different eyes now. Right. And you could say 100 years from now, you could just do something like that around 9/11. And again, you're so far removed, it doesn't feel like there's the emotional impact. But you're totally right. There's a timing thing here. So if you're going to put out a Ferguson game in the next 3 weeks, you're talking about some serious scrutiny.
Oh, absolutely.
You put out a Ferguson thing in 5 years when things have hopefully calmed down, assuming they did. That might be seen more as a retrospective, hey, let's not forget those lessons. Here's an interesting game and mechanics that will help us remind us, what that was and what that meant, from a historical perspective. And you can do more with more time. So, yeah, time plays a huge factor in this stuff.
Huge factor. I'll tell you what doesn't play a factor is when any of these political parties do this weird-ass crap they're doing right now. I don't know if you saw this little game, but I posted in the show notes. The NRSC, which is the National Republicans something. Anyway, they are they are basically the committee to make sure that Republicans are in power. So their political slant is if they're Republican, they're right. It doesn't matter about anything else. And
wow, that played.
So right, so this game is you got this.
Is there a way to turn it down so I can?
I just right.
Hold on, let me see if I can turn the volume on it in. Okay, it's muted.
Right. There you go. All right. So you're playing as an elephant Republican, and you're got kind of like this running suit on with this 8-bit kind of stuff. But this is the description in
your little elephant, by the way. Your little elephant dude.
Yeah, your little elephant, which of course, the GOP. All right. Hi, my name is Giappi. I'm one of the GOP's best volunteers for the 2014 midterms. Yes, it's coming, people. Freak out now. Yeah. And I'm here to show you how you. I'm here to show you how we can win back the Senate. There is going to be a lot of red tape and regulations in our way, but we need to overcome them in order to succeed. At the end of each level, there's a link that will bring you to a site where you can support Republicans in real life. Ready to get started? Not even a little bit. Great, have fun. And so this stupid little flash-looking game, and it's like a key that you have to collect, or you collect these keys, and it's got like that. Is that like an ISIS symbol on the top of it? Is that like? Are we getting into some conspiracy kind of thing?
I don't know about that. I just know that this is like America's Army. That game. It's right. It's a game,
but it's America's Army was fun. This is kind of a platformer with a.
I always felt like America's Army was definitely a recruitment tool, and definitely absolutely. Just was driven. That's why why else would they make it? There's no other point for it than, even if it's just PR, it's still PR for the Army.
Right.
This one's a little more
recruitment tool. They handed it out at recruitment stations. The CD America's Army, they handed that out at all the recruiter places.
Yeah. Hold on, this is weird. My thing's not working. But what I was going to say
it's probably Giappi. He's in your computer now.
This whole Giappi thing is a little bit weird because I don't know who this service is. I don't think there's any politically neutral people running into the Giappi flash game and going, "Ooh, this looks fun." Like this. That's not who their target is. If they're targeting Democrats who are savvy enough, they're going to just laugh at this. And if they're targeting other Republicans, well, then you're preaching to the choir. I don't understand what this actually does for anybody.
I'm not sure if they have like this misguided idea that they can somehow go viral with this and maybe reach a younger generation who they can who they aiming at though? 8-year-olds? I mean, because I don't think I'm going to really know of any people that are going to be soon voting age that would really want to play this game. So it's kind of weird, and it feels really dirty to me. It almost feels like, how we had cartoons during the 80s where it was nothing but selling toys, and this feels like nothing but selling agenda through video games to me.
A little bit, but these are still fringes, and this is the thing we have to expect. As video games continue, they already are, but as they continue to be more and more a part of mainstream culture across the world in various nations and cultures, this stuff will start to come in on the fringes, whether it's politics, whether it's personal vendettas, whether it's trolling, whether it's full-on hackers, whether it's legitimate stuff, big budget stuff, indie stuff. There's now room in this ever-enlarging, entertainment culture that you'll start to see all kinds. And so I'm not that surprised. And it's not like there's thousands of these. There's going to be 2 or 3, and then they may just be as dumb or even dumber than this Giappi thing.
They got to be dumb.
It's pretty dumb. That's the things. I'm not even going to play it because they either want my Facebook info, my Google Plus info, or my email, and I'm not giving them any of those. So
not going to happen. I mean, you can all those things are.
Even if I was a hardcore Republican that wanted to spread the word on this, I'm not giving you my damn info. Right. What am I asking to get spammed for the next 6 years?
Oh my gosh, they'll be calling you, man. They'll be calling you on the phone.
Freaking forget it. We got some feedback here. One from Mr. Morty Reed.
Mr. Morty Reed.
He said this on Twitter. Brian Dunaway, what do you use for game video capture? I got into the closed beta event with no NDA and I wanted to post it for the TFS show. Closed beta for what?
I think he was talking about the I can't remember. Closed my gosh, I'm totally spacing.
Closed beta for Warcraft or
no, it was that. It's that I think it's a free-to-play game.
Fart
We were talking about it at
Knocker,
the time.
I don't know.
Context-wise, I probably could remember, but I can't.
All right, that's fine. But what do you use when you're capping stuff? Not well, I guess we can talk about PC, but also what are you going to do elsewise?
Right. Well, on the PC, that's where I capture most of my stuff, and so I don't have to have any other hardware than my own video card. I use XSplit, which is you pay for the service. I think it's what $14.95 for 3 months or something every 3 months.
Yeah, the guy pays $60 a year or something like that. Yeah.
Right. It's fairly reasonable for a personal account. Now, if you're wanting to go more professional and you're wanting to do have a business and whatnot, I guess you could go for the higher up stuff. And they've got one just called Gamecaster. But the thing about XSplit that I have to kind of make a choice between. I own Fraps.
Yeah,
which is not a pay for service. You just buy the software and it's yours. And I own XSplit. XSplit compresses on the fly.
Yeah.
So it's more processor intensive. You have more options because you can set up scenes and you can put your webcam in there and you can do all the editing kind of a little bit on the fly. You've got a lot of hotkeys and stuff. Fraps, very simple. It writes directly to your hard drive, uncompressed. So the performance is sometimes a little bit better on that.
Yeah, it's also the files are huge, so there's a trade-off.
The files are huge.
And oftentimes you got to convert them depending on what your editor is. Because that AVI format they use is freaking weird.
Yeah, and you know what? I do pretty good. I tried a whole bunch of different things. I tried Premiere Essentials for the editing part of it. I have actually found that Windows Movie Maker, which comes with Windows 7, Windows 8, those kind of things, part of the Live Essentials pack, it's the only thing I install. I get rid of all the rest of the crap, but I install that. It allows me to do really quick, easy edits, and then I can just press a button, and it'll bring up YouTube, and it will post at YouTube and everything. It makes my life super simple.
So I have used and played around with OBS. I don't like its export settings. It's kind of crappy. It's got some way to go. Maybe that stuff will improve, but right now it's kind of poop. But
it's open source. There's a big learning curve.
I do quite like. I really like shadow play though with NVIDIA cards. So if you've got an NVIDIA card that is up to snuff or current enough that they support shadow play on it, it is a built-in and just kind of comes with the card, piece of software driver thing that lets you do screen capture, does really good quality, does compression on the fly. So there's some, stuff going on there, but most of the heavy lifting is put on the card and not your CPU. Right. So the better the card, obviously, the better it'll look. I've just found that some games straight up won't work with it.
It's definitely optimized. If you have a supported game, you will get a lot better results than with other software. But if it's not supported, not so much.
Yeah, and then Fraps pretty much just works across the board. And I also like Fraps giving me a little indicator counter at the top, so I kind of always know when it's on or off. There's a lot of things about Fraps that are super simple and kind of dumb, but they're in some ways that's benefited me as a user because I can just use it as I need it. So I'm a big Fraps fan.
If you have and a couple of tips too, if you have the abilities to have a second hard drive, just like when you used to use Photoshop, you use a scratch disk, and you can write your fraps and everything to another disk other than your primary disk.
They're freaking big.
Yeah, they get big quick.
Real big, like 4 gig files separated in 4 gig chunks, and there's usually 10 of them by the time I finish a 15-minute video. Right. And I got to go convert them all.
You can tell it not to do that. You can tell it to just make one large file. Of course, you have a greater risk of corruption, and of course, it's for the file system too. If your file system is Mac compatible or something, then you're not going to be able to. You're not going to.
Yeah, if you do journaled stuff, I think it's. I don't know. I don't understand how that stuff works, but the 4 gig thing is there for kind of a reason. I don't mind it. I don't mind piecing those together during editing because I got to convert them all anyway. But it's so Brian's right about Windows Movie Maker. I use Premiere because I have a Creative Cloud account, and Premiere is rad and awesome and pretty much the best editing software deck that I'm aware of. I used Final Cut for years, and this is basically picking up where Final Cut got dumb and then made it better, and I think it's great. So I use that to do all my final edits and stuff. And then one last thing, the card I use, oh crap, I have a card that'll do console stuff for HDMI capture, and I can't find the name.
I've flirted with the idea a lot, but since I don't have a current gen console, I'm really not ready for that just yet. But yeah, you can pick up one usually in the
couple $100 maybe.
Yeah, 150, $200. I mean, just make sure that what you get allows you to convert the HDMI, because I think Xbox think is it Xbox or PlayStation that has encryption on it, and you can't do the pass through. There's a bunch of little things that you have to consider.
Don't know, and I'm not sure on the new one if there's any big differences on the new consoles as opposed to the PS3 and 360. But anyway, there are definitely hardware solutions for that. The way a lot of people are doing PlayStation is they'll just broadcast out to Twitch what they're playing,
right,
and then that stuff's archived on Twitch for a time. You go get that stuff off of Twitch. The quality isn't, the greatest, but it's pretty good.
If your internet pipe is bigger than the abilities of your computer, then you're better off broadcasting to Twitch and downloading.
Yeah.
But if your bandwidth is limited, upload specifically, then you're going to be a lot better off capturing local and then uploading at your leisure.
It could look like poopy.
Could look like the poo.
Prince Zordar wrote and said this via Twitter at TFS Show. He says, "Help me out, guys. Crimson Land reminds me of an Xbox 360 game I had a while back, but I can't remember the name of it now. Any ideas?"
I looked at it, and I looked at Crimson Land, and I mean, it looks kind of like a dual stick shooter kind of a thing.
Well, it is. That is what it is. For me, I'll tell you what. It's an old game. First of all, Crimson Land came out forever ago, and this is like an update. It's like 03 or something.
Right.
It is Robotron style-ish kind of thing, but there's some change. There's some difference. There's differences in it. I have the PC version. It's okay. I like it okay. I don't love it, but I like it. The game I think he's thinking of, though, is probably just like Robotron or something, because that's pretty much all it is. You run around and shoot dudes, and you do a lot of backing up in the corners because they're all chasing you, and you try to kill them all, and you get them to you beat that wave, and you try the next wave, and you get power-ups and new weapons, and don't die,
Wasn't there a game called Swarm that it kind of...
Maybe? Is there something called Swarm? I don't know.
Wasn't there like a free-to-play game called Swarm on a
video game
on a Steam?
Swarm, 2011 video game. It is That wasn't it. That was one of the little blue dudes.
Yeah, that wasn't it.
Remember those little blue dudes?
I do indeed. Those are fun.
There's probably others, but yeah. Anyway. Good luck with that. If you'd like to send us some feedback, you can. At TFS Show on Twitter is where you can follow us and send us questions. We're happy to take them and talk to you. And of course, Brian's at the Brian Dunaway. I'm at Scott Johnson. And Nicole's at Nicole Spag. And we'll use those sometimes on the show. We got an old school pick for the week.
We do indeed.
What is it?
Brian, what is it?
What is it?
Picking it old school.
It's old school. Time for an old video game. Brian, what are we doing this week?
Well, you wouldn't believe this, but my buddy who's driving me to Dragon Con picked this stupid game out for me. It's called Take the Money and Run for the Odyssey 2 from 1980. I was able to play this on archive.org. We'll post a link to the in the show notes. You can play this through the MESS plugin, which is kind of like a MAME package file that allows you to play it online, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, this game was from 1980. And it kind of had the graphics of E.T. with the annoyingness of every game of that time. And one of the things that really cracks me up about this game is remember how E.T. would get in certain areas and he would get his head stuck and he'd be like, and he kind of, and they also kind of did that in Pitfall too, where it's like this annoying grating, oh my God, I'm stuck in this area kind of thing, what I'm talking about? And that happens like constantly because you're a guy, you're one of two guys. You're playing against an opponent, and you're trying to get actually the full description here's the description. After time travel, the players are trapped in the land of Kinesium in 23,100 AD. The Kinesians are deeply interested in the 20th century economic file, and they build more than 1 trillion different mazes populated by robots representing the economic factors of that time. So as you can imagine how grandiose this description is, that the game is going to suck because it's 1980. The players must turn it into 1,000,000 so they can return for their time or else be doomed to roam the Kinesian mazes forever. And the thing about these Kinesian mazes are you're kind of a really tall sprite, and you are way taller than the maze, so you keep getting stuck, and you have to like duck your head to try to squeeze into certain areas, and it's a pain in the butt. It's just a really pain in the butt. I got a clip down there at the bottom.
Yeah, let's play it here. This is you playing, by the way.
This is actually me playing.
Yeah, here we go. It's got a little select game thing up. I'm skipping ahead. Here we go. Oh my gosh. The graphics.
It's very simple.
Well, there is no
Very
sound,
simple.
is there?
Oh, there should probably be sound.
here we go.
You turned it down. You turned it down earlier.
Here we go. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, it's like that
That's
constantly.
super obnoxious.
So you've got this money counters for each player down at the bottom. This kind of that kind of goes up or down based on whether you're talking about taxes or if you're talking about income or if you're talking about this or that. And there's math involved, but you can never look at the math because you're too busy trying to figure out how to get to the freaking man that you're trying to get to. And apparently you can't. There's two guys that you're chasing, and you can't. If you pick the wrong one, then it doesn't do anything. It just sends you back to the home screen. But my friend Alan insists that this game was kind of like Quake Headhunters in the stress level of it, because if you didn't reach
loved Quake Headhunters mod, dude.
Right? If you
So
didn't
good.
reach the character that you're trying to catch before the other person did, the other person would get all the money.
Yeah.
So that was the rub. You were head to head competing against somebody, and whatever.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Alan.
Yeah, thanks, man. Alan. Excellent. That's good. That's it. We're done. Thank you all for being here. If you have a suggestion of a old school game you'd like us to play or anything else, you can send us an email, podcast@finalscoreshow.com. Follow everything Brian's got going on in his life with his various projects at The Brian Dunaway. Look for him and Nicole this weekend at Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia. Shake their hands, bump nubs, whatever. Well, don't bump nubs.
Shake my hand, and I will hand you a card.
Brilliant. Yeah, you will. TFS Show for the show on Twitter. Give us your questions. We'd like to read them on the show. TFS Show is the Twitter account. FinalScoreShow.com is the website. And I mentioned earlier, Boop is a show that is new, and it is twice a week, both Mondays and Thursdays, where we cover the news and analysis, the analysts of those news. Those bits of news, and we do it twice a week. So check that out at frogpants.com/boop, B-O-O-P. You can find this show at finalscoreshow.com. Did I mention that? I might have. Facebook.com/finalscoreshow. Big thanks to our intern, Paul Swickard, and big thanks to you, the listener. Thank you for being here each and every time we do one of these damn things. Brian, you got anything else to add?
Comics Coast to Coast, check it out. We talked to some great interviews recently, including the Daniel Lieske interview. He is a German What Does Worm World saga, and he just funded his Kickstarter project, and I'm super excited about it because it is a beautiful book.
ComicsCoastToCoast.com. Check it out. It's going to do it for us. Thank you all for being here. Have a lovely weekend. We'll see you next week. We did it.
That was a pretty good episode.
I agree.
Nicole had to duck out.
Yeah, I feel bad that she's just got a lot going on today before she leaves tomorrow.
I enjoyed our discussion. If Nicole had been here, I would have slanted towards that infuriated woman that always infuriates everybody, the feminist lady who plays the video games or analyzes the video games.
Yeah, she's an